my little proof professors. If you're watching this, you're not quite an expert yet. So we are going to take a moment to correct this test and become experts. I am going to go through very quickly, so it's going to be your job to pause when you need to. First thing you need to do is write the givens, and you need to recognize that you have an angle bisector. That is a vocabulary word. An angle bisector means that if you have BD, it divides ABC in half. So angle 1 and angle 2 will be equal. Angle 1 equals angle 2 because an angle bisector creates two equal angles. The second vocabulary word is perpendicular. Perpendicular means 90 degrees. 90 degrees means that you have two right angles here where BD cuts AC. You need to understand that that one vocabulary word creates two steps. First, you have right angles because perpendicular lines form right angles. Then you know that they're equal because all right angles are equal. Notice that I wrote the given once. Once you write the given, do not write any of those again. Only use the vocabulary words. The next thing that you need to recognize in this is the powers of observation. DB equals DB reflexive. There are 5 ways to prove triangles are congruent. You can only use these 5 ways if you are going to prove two triangles are equal. If you use these for anything other than showing two triangles are equal, you have not used it correctly. In this case, you have the angle-side angle theorem. For the second one, there's a little bit less vocabulary, so there is a little bit more that we have to understand. You are given that you have 4 points on a straight line. You are given that BC equals FD. You need to be marking that in your picture. You're given that angle 1 and angle 2 are equal. That should be written on your picture. You're also given, and this is a little harder to see, that AD, which is a part of this large triangle, equals EC. Now, because I have this that's a little bit harder to see, I separated the two triangles. I have triangle ABC right here. I rewrote it to make it a little easier. If we take a look at this, we had written AD and CE are equal, angle 1 and angle 2 are equal, and also these little tiny pieces. Well, angle 2 is right here. That has a mark. BC, sorry, I wrote the wrong letter right there. BC is right here. We know that has a little mark, and we have a side mark there. I also extracted the other triangle to notice that angle 1 is here. I kind of pulled them apart, like I'm stretching them out. The point D is here. This piece is equal, and we know we have another side. That is a little bit challenging to see. The other challenge that you need to see is that the points CD create a segment that are shared. So those are reflexive. Now you can come up with the fact that BD, if you take those 2 points and add them together, equals CF. If you look back for the first problem that we did, there are 5 ways to prove triangles are congruent. In this case, we have side, angle, side for both of these triangles, and therefore the triangles are equal. Now, when you want to talk about corresponding parts, you're supposed to prove AB equals EF. This corresponds with this. And so therefore you can use corresponding parts, but some people aren't quite getting that still, so please write both. The acronym corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent, and also when two triangles are congruent or equal, all corresponding parts are congruent or equal. The third one has some straightforward vocabulary. Parallel, as before, I know in my class I said that anytime you see parallel, you want to recognize either alternate interior angles or you want to recognize corresponding angles. Those two are the most popular. There are other angles, but those two are popular for proofs. When you see parallel lines, this is a little bit challenging to see, but if this line is parallel to this line, these two angles right here are corresponding angles. So angle 1 and angle 2 are in fact corresponding because that's what parallel lines that are caught by a transversal create. And then corresponding angles are in fact equal when the lines are parallel. Very important for you to write down. Second vocabulary word is midpoint. B is a midpoint. Most people I did find could get that pretty straightforward. CB equals BA, a midpoint creates two equal segments. Another vocabulary word that kind of just helps you to mark your picture and do nothing else at this point really is that angle E is congruent to angle D. Holy moly, I can't talk. And again, one of the five choices that you have, we have angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. And then again, you want to prove corresponding parts. You want to prove that this side is the same length as this side, and therefore it's still corresponding parts. I do expect, and Mr. Carpenter as well, that you write the acronym as well as that sentence. You have to understand that concept. Perpendicular is one that we've already seen. Perpendicular is one that we've already seen. I expect you to mark the pictures. Midpoint. MN is equal to MN. MN is equal to NP. A midpoint creates two equal segments. Perpendicular, we've already talked about. Perpendicular lines create 90-degree angles that are equal. You know that QN, which is here, is equal to RN, which is here. This is the hypotenuse leg. Before you use hypotenuse leg, please be reminded that you have to state that you have right triangles. Then you may use hypotenuse leg. Again, we are trying to prove an isosceles, so these two angles are equal because of corresponding parts. And when you have two base angles equal, that large triangle is isosceles. Very important for you to know that. Please pause if you need to. Make sure you have everything written down. And then the bonus, again, straightforward vocabulary. You need to know these vocabulary words. Perpendicular, again, creates equal right angles. AB is equal to DE, that's just a marker. Midpoint, and again we have midpoint creates two equal segments. And we have right triangles to use hypotenuse leg. Notice that you have some repetition. We have corresponding parts of angle 3 and angle 4. That would be here and here. Or really you could use this angle and this angle as well. Either one are perfectly fine. We're proving that we have parallel lines. So we talk about congruent alternate interior angles. That was the bonus. You need to have all the steps and all the work. So go back, rewrite, pause, make your tables larger, whatever you need to do. You will now be proof professors, I guarantee it.